Welcome to the Haines Total Healthcare Basketball Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. I'm Jeran Cox, and I'm here with my co-hosts Matt Hoops and Christian Spradlin, and we're excited to bring you tonight's episode. We got a lot of basketball to talk about, Matt, and this show, it's sponsored by Haines Total Healthcare since 1974. Haines Total Healthcare has been proudly serving the Chillicothe community and surrounding counties, providing exceptional care to over 50,000 patients every year. Whether you're seeking chiropractic care, physical therapy, or nutritional guidance, we've got you covered. From athletes to seniors, and from pediatrics to geriatrics, we treat patients of all ages, helping you live pain-free, stay active, and feel your best. With a place in the top 1% of clinics nationwide, you can trust that you're in good hands. We're open 6 days a week, ready to serve your family for years to come. Haines Total Healthcare Center, where healing happens for every stage of life. Call for an appointment today or visit us at haineshealth.com. So we're coming back here from Christmas break, Coach, and we had a lot of basketball happen over the holiday break and got back into SVC play tonight. And I know you went, you were able to watch Unioto play Piketon, so I was going to give you a minute here to talk about what you saw tonight.
Yeah, it was it was close first quarter and even close first half. Really, I think it may have been tied at the first quarter. I think 18-all. Unioto jumped out to a quick lead. Piketon hung around, battled back, and was able to tie it. It was a 4 or 5 point game right before halftime, and then sophomore Jack Welch goes on a little 5-0 run by himself to extend the lead to 9 going into half. Then Unioto just had a really good third quarter, outscored them, I think, something like 23-7 or 9 in the third, and kind of just extended the lead, and were able to kind of cruise in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing with Unioto that you've maybe seen this year is, their depth. We've talked about that a few times, and they just kind of wear people down as you get in the second half, late third, early fourth quarters. And, tonight I was able, I was able to go to Huntington, and I got to watch Zane Trace play Huntington for a little bit, and, LJ's back, right? So he got himself a nice ovation. I wanted to see how he kind of fit back in, coming back. Zane Trace been playing pretty well, and, it's about what I expected. He didn't come in, didn't really force the action. He just kind of let things naturally happen, made a couple good extra passes there, set his teammates up. Zane Trace had 41 points in the first half, and he didn't score. So, that tells you, the type of player he is. He's not going to force things, but, man, they shot the ball well. I think they hit at least 7 or 8 threes in that first half. I had Gunnar McCullough for 7 offensive rebounds in the first half. And, I think the one thing with him coming back is – they struggled with their depth, right? So he's obviously going to give them more depth, but it gives them, maybe that 6th or 7th player, and maybe that's not super deep, but they're all versatile. And so when you're versatile and you can play multiple positions, it really helps with your depth. They got LJ that can play the point, they got Landon Robinson, they got the Rippeth boy who can all play the point. And then, Grady Stewart, he's a tall kid. He can play in the post if McCullough needs a break. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out for Zane Trace here as we get to the second half of the SVC season.
I think, and I think we may have mentioned this maybe on the show before we left. What it's done is it's put those other Zane Trace players in kind of prime position without LJ, where they've had to up their game. And now that you get him back, they're used to that. And then you add a player of his caliber back into that mix, it just makes them very dangerous.
Yeah, and I think, the one player that really, I won't say stands out, but he doesn't really stand out, is Landon Robinson on that team. Like, he can impact the game in so many different ways, right? He doesn't have to score 15 or 20 points. He can get you 7 or 8 rebounds. He can get 7 or 8 assists. He can hit threes if he's open. He's a strong kid. He can play underneath. So it's one of those things like I was just talking about. They're versatile. They can play multiple positions. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out. Obviously Zane Trace has Unioto at home. They have Westfall at home, and actually Westfall got upset tonight by Adena, so that creates a 2-way tie atop the SVC between Unioto and Zane Trace. So it's the second half.
It is. It's going to be intense. It's going to be interesting. We mentioned earlier that the guys that played football are now rounding into basketball shape, and you're kind of starting to see that with the Unioto team as well. Some of those guys that played football are now starting to score more efficiently. Caden Cutright over the Christmas break has really picked up his scoring in terms of adding another punch to that Unioto offense. So that's been beneficial, and I'm sure it's happening, around the league and around the area as well as those football athletes become basketball players now. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting, and it's what makes this part of the state and the SVC specifically really fun to watch the second round.
Yeah, it is. I know the Cutright kid went off for 30 there the other night. I saw, and then another solid game tonight with 18. It's one of those things too where when you play a Unioto team, you're focused on probably Fitch, you're focused on Blake Hoops, you're focused on KB Perkins, and that frees up those other guys. And like you said, they get into their basketball shape. Their shot becomes more natural, and it's one of those things that they're going to get open shots just naturally, and it's just a matter of putting it in the basket. So
that's exactly right.
So. Okay, we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Unioto basketball standout player, KB Perkins.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Par-Mar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Par-Mar has it. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Par-Mar rewards card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to talk to you about our express service that we offer at every Glockner location. Did you know that you don't need an appointment if you need a routine service done to your vehicle? All you have to do is show up. No appointment necessary. Stop by and let us serve you at any Glockner location today.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at sosaohio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's sosaohio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Caleb Williams has transferred to Wendy's for the new loaded nacho cheeseburger.
This burger's my inspiration, and I just hope to inspire you.
Oh, you have inspired us.
Thought we were doing names on the headband.
Get it together. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new loaded nacho cheeseburger.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
To business demands. Give Glo Fiber a call at 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com. So we are joined now with Unioto basketball senior player KB Perkins. And KB, before we really start to talk about, your season this year, obviously you had a bad injury, baseball last year. Just talk about, the work and the rehab that you've went through to get back to this point.
Yeah, so when it first happened, I was like, man, the whole world just stopped. And then I really thought about it, and I really had a choice to either just stop sports and continue on with college baseball, or just finish my high school season out with my dudes, Caden and Blake, and just fight through that. So he told me as soon as I did it, he was like, it's going to be rough. It's going to be about 9 months or so. So when he told me that, everything kind of just stopped. And then after that first 6 weeks or whatever, it was locked out straight for 6 weeks. And then after that, I started going to therapy, and every day it just got better. So it was a lot mentally and physically. But I mean, there was a lot of people there for me during that hard time, and just coming back from that and being able to play now it's just a blessing.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that you just kind of hit on. You only get to go through high school one time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, injuries they happen sometimes, right? And unfortunately, it happened to you. And I think it's the one thing that you're going to look back on as you're older is just how special it is to be able to play your senior year in basketball and baseball, and as you go forward college baseball and stuff. But I think that talks a lot about maybe just like your leadership and coming in as a senior this year. I know that your brother graduated last year. He was a senior, so he had that chance to be a leader, and now it's kind of your turn to be a leader this year as a senior. Just talk about some of the roles or some of the things you do to help lead your team this year.
Yeah, so last year we had a great group of seniors, Zeke, my brother, obviously, and then Newton Hoops. Just learning from those guys. They were great leaders, especially Newton. I mean, he was always positive, uplifting, and all that. So I think our senior class this year learned a lot from the ones last year and in other sports, but in basketball for sure. And just the leadership now is it's kind of weird being the big dog, the senior, you know what I mean? Because I've always been younger, looking up to my brother and Blake's brother. But now just being a senior, it's just everyone looks up to you. You're one of the oldest kids on the team, so just stepping in to fill that role it just feels great to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that kind of goes in along with that, stepping into your senior year and as a leader, you guys have a new coach this year, right? And so it's kind of you're have a first year head coach, but yet it's your senior year to be a leader. And so is there a gap between you and the younger kids, and maybe you and Coach Combs have a relationship? Maybe you help spread things down to the younger kids, or
I mean, at the start it was real hard. I mean, obviously senior year coming in with a big change, new coach, new everything. So it was hard. I haven't really played with any of the younger guys, so I mean the only ones I've really played with were Blake and Caden. We've been playing together since 8th grade. But the younger class, they're awesome. Caden Patterson, he tore his ACL, and we were at his house the other day, and he was like, "Dude, I don't even feel like a freshman. I feel like one of you guys." So just hearing that from him, it was awesome.
Do you think, obviously the injury was terrible, and, I've obviously known you forever and coached you, and I've watched you play, and you've kind of always just been that kind of free spirit, carefree, just relaxed and played and were successful. Do you think that your mindset shifted once the injury happened to even appreciate the game, the practice, the workouts even more, whereas in the past maybe you were like, I got to go do this, to now where you're like, I get to go do this.
Yeah.
And then you see someone like Caden go down and you're able to be there for him. Just kind of talk about the shift in your mindset once that happened.
Yeah, no, 100%. I kind of took sports for granted, just going to practice and stuff. I was just trying to get through the practice. And then as soon as I got hurt, the first week, that whole week, I was like, man, I missed practice. I just go to school and then come home. It was a hard time. Mm-hmm. And then seeing Caden Patterson go through it, I mean, he's a freshman. He's got time, but I think he's the type of kid that, I mean, we went to his house the other day, he had a basketball in his hand, he was laying in bed. So, I mean, that just shows a lot. Just being down and not being able to do anything and still having the ball in your hand, it's sweet. Right.
And then you talked about people being there for you. Obviously, feel like your teammates, that's when you realize how big the impact sports has, is because it brings you around so many different people and kids, and you see how many people that really care about you. I know your baseball guys were there, football guys. We wanted to get you back for that, and even though we weren't able to, I know that the interaction was still huge there. Kind of just talk about your teammates and how they kind of helped you through that tough time.
Yeah, no. During that tough time, I mean, I didn't have not one of my teammates reach out to me and say, if you need anything, food, anything, they were always there. And I probably had at least 2 or 3 kids text me every day, just like, "Are you doing all right? You need anything?" So, just having those guys there through that hard time, it for sure 100% got me through it. I mean, it was a lot. It was lonely at night, in the morning, stuff like that. You're just laying in bed by yourself, just in pain, just wishing you could do what you love and just play sports.
Right.
And no, that was hard.
I know from just it made me proud. There's a few times in the summer that I'd be maybe over there on the track working out, just trying to run and try to stay in shape, and I look over and I'd see you either taking some swings off the tee or running poles in the outfield, and we just kind of would wave, and I just for me it made me proud to be like, look, he's grinding, he's not taking it for granted, he's trying to get back, and it was just really obviously you grow through adversity, and I believe that you have definitely done that.
Mm-hmm. So KB, tonight it marks like the halfway point of the SVC season. Mm-hmm. You guys are 6-1, the SVC tied for first place, 9-2 overall. Obviously your guys' goal was probably to win the SVC, but just talk about what some of your other bigger goals are and what you're really hoping to accomplish here in the second half of the season.
So last year we played in Logan Elm, and I looked at everyone, I was like, dude, let's go to the Convo. That's been my number one goal. I just want to play in the Convo with all my buddies. And after that game, we lost on a game-winning shot, and just after that, kind of really opened my eyes, like, dang, like, next year I'm going to be a senior, like, I got one more shot at this. And then we opened up with at Miami Trace, and losing that game, it was just like, can't lose anymore, because we got one goal, and it's to make our tournament run, and we won a gold ball for sure, but, it just didn't work out, so our goal now is just to make a tournament run.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing, as I look back, and we're going to talk to Blake Hoops here in a little bit, I was watching that Zane Trace Unioto game, and I think it was like, I don't know, maybe you guys can help me out, but maybe about 4 or 5 minutes to go, I felt like it was either a tie game or like 1 or 2 points either way, not for sure. But there was a play, in my opinion, that kind of turned the game. And it's probably something Blake and you have played together forever. I think he got the ball maybe like that left point guard spot and dribbled in to penetrate. He went up to shoot and did like a shooting pass to you right on the block, and you finished it. And I felt like that really just changed the game. Just the chemistry right there. And just talk about, do you guys like just have to make eye contact with each other? Or you guys got hand signals? Or
don't give it all away.
It's kind of just. He knows. We've been playing together forever, and we'll just look at each other, and he sometimes you don't have to look at me. He just knows I'm down there, and before every game I tell him, I'm like, dude, if you ever get stuck, I'm gonna be there. And sometimes he just throws it right to me, and he knows I'm always gonna be in that spot wide open. So
kind of talk a little bit. Jeran hit on it there. The fourth quarter of that Zane Trace game, it felt like. It almost felt like the seniors kind of just stepped up and said, we're not losing this game. Yeah. And you guys were able to kind of take that game over. I think Blake Fitch had gotten to a little bit of foul trouble, and we had to kind of finish that fourth quarter a little bit without him before we could get him back late in the quarter. But just talk about again, your mindset as a senior, the last time playing Zane Trace at home, how big that was.
Mm-hmm. So after the third quarter, we're sitting on the bench, and all of us just looked at each other and we were like, dude, like, this is our home court. This is the last time we're going to play them at home, so let's do this thing. So we went out, and it's just we went on a run. We were moving the ball. When we play team ball, I don't think anyone can stop us. So just having that, and as soon as we scored a couple points, fast break, and I think they got a quick timeout, and the momentum just changed, couple buckets, and it just changed like that. So I think that was the biggest thing, is just all of us looked at each other and we're like, we're not losing this game. We need to play defense and get out and run on offense, and we'll be all right.
What's been your favorite basketball memory through high school?
Well, that's a tough one.
Well, I'll let you think
Fair
about
one.
that. I'll ask you another question. We'll come back to that. Any pregame rituals, like maybe playing Snoop Dogg music too loud or anything like that?
Yeah. I'll always have my speaker with me. I'll be playing Snoop Dogg.
His name on the football team, obviously, we missed him a lot on the field this year. Obviously, a tremendous player. But we may have missed him more in the locker room because in the locker room, it's DJ KB. So he was always in charge of the aux. Music was always bumping. So anytime you need any good music, right here's your guy.
He was also helping you out earlier there, styling and profiling.
Got my strings straight. Yep. He takes care of it. It's the little things,
So, favorite memory?
It's just got to be last year before we played Logan Elm. I remember late in the fourth quarter, we were in a timeout, and we go back out on the court, and it's last couple possessions, and we were on defense. We went on a little run, had a couple fast break layups, and we're on defense, and I'm standing at the block, and I just start to listen. Like, I'm blocking out the crowd the whole game, and then kind of open my ears up, and that place was going crazy. And just hearing that environment and just being able to play out there with that environment, it's just, there's no better feeling in the world than that.
And I can tell you this, he has a lot of fun in the locker room, on the bus. Before that game, Newton texted me from the back of the bus and said, "Dad, something's wrong with KB." And I'm like, sick? Is he all right? And he's like, "No, Dad, I've never seen this look in his eyes before." And, he basically, we got down big that game, and KB put us on his back in the second half. And he finished with, I think, 26 to give us a chance to win that game. But, he just was locked in that game, and you could tell that, he wanted that one bad. So he's right when he's talking about the crowd because, a lot of that noise was for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, KB, we appreciate you coming on here and talking to us tonight, and wish you the best of luck here closing out the second half of the SVC.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right. When we come back, we'll be joined by a fellow Unioto teammate, senior Blake Hoops. Welcome back to the Haines Total Healthcare Basketball Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. This is the Haines Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show for a variety of healthcare needs, including chiropractical services, physical therapy, nutritional guidance, dry needling, stretch rehab, corrective exercises, lifestyle advice, and more. Turn to Haines Total Healthcare Center at 1 Health Drive in Chillicothe or call 740-772-5957 or visit Haines Total Healthcare online at haineshealth.com. We are now joined by fellow Unioto standout basketball player, senior Blake Hoops. And Blake, good to have you on here. And, we was talking to KB a little bit, and I'm going to ask you maybe some of the similar questions, but just talk about, I was talking to KB how last year his older brother was a leader, your older brother was a leader. Now it's kind of your turn as a senior. Just talk about maybe how some things you've learned from the guys before you that have helped you become a better leader this year.
Yeah, we've had great leaders in the past, but last year's group, those seniors, they were different towards not just the juniors, but everyone below them. And I think the way they led is just they kept everyone together. So just like Newton and Jordan, if stuff went bad, they wouldn't let it. They just make sure everyone was in the right headspace. So I think me and KB and Caden have taken a lot of what they've done and put it to what we're doing this year.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing I was talking to him. I think you heard us talking about. It just feels like maybe there's a connection between you three. You've played so long. We mentioned the play at St. Trace where you kind of drove in, had a shooting pass to him, and just talk about maybe how you guys have kind of evolved and learned how to play with each other. Since maybe your freshman year.
Yeah, me and KB played for a while. In 8th grade when we were in middle school, he wasn't as tall as he was, so he's kind of the same position as me. But as we've gotten older, I know where to find him on the court and dish it down to him a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I was going to ask another question here, and then I'll flip it over to Coach Hoops over there. But I want you to take a couple of minutes and just talk about maybe how your game has evolved. You've been playing varsity for a few years. I remember specifically watching you last year. Last year it seemed like you were more of a catch on the perimeter, drive it to the basket, and use your strength. You're a real physical player. This year you kind of evolved more into, hey, I can shoot the three, right? I can rebound some, and you're even getting some nice passes out there. Just talk about maybe how your game has changed from the last couple of years to this year.
I think this year what's different is I've just slowed the game down a little bit more. I think the last 3 years I've played varsity that I just always high speed, always going, and I think I've just slowed it down and realized that the game doesn't have to be all sped up. You can play at your own pace. So I've done that, and then I don't know. I've kind of worked on my jump shot and gotten that a little bit better. So
I think that's the one thing, because we talked about last year. You really drove to the hole. You used your strength. Now you got that 3-point shot, and it really makes it tougher for people to guard you, right? Because they come out and they got their hands up, closing out. Now you can drive around them, or if they're expecting your drive, you have that confidence in yourself to shoot the three. Just what did you do this summer? Any specific drills? You try to get up so many shots just to work on your 3-point shot, or just talk about the work that you put in.
This summer was a lot really focused on football, but whenever I could get in the gym, I would constantly just work on my jump shot, either on the shooting machine or just the mechanics of it. I would just work on that a lot.
Yeah. And so, we're finished out the first half of the year here in the SVC. You guys are sitting tied at the top, 6-1, and you're in that spot where you kind of control your own destiny, right? So you got Westfall to play. They knocked you off early in the season. You still have St. Trace, and that's who you're tied with. Obviously, you want to win the SVC. That's been your goal. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but just talk about some other things, what you guys are really looking to do here in the last half of your senior year.
Win out obviously is the goal, but win the league, and we just want to make a tournament run. I know a lot of us guys are a little bittersweet about last year and the way that ended, so we know our goals and we want to play in the convo for sure.
Obviously, Blake, last year we lost our first league game to St. Trace early on in the season, and then lost our leading scorer halfway through the league season. How do you think that, those situations that you were put in last year, losing that first game at St. Trace, then losing Zeke in game, whatever it was, 10 or 11, has helped you guys get off to such a good start this year in terms of being 9-2? And can you take kind of that loss early on Westfall this year and learn from last year and move forward?
Yeah, when Zeke went down, I think that it made everyone else, they had to play better. And I think like guys like Caden Cutright, he started to get more minutes. He started to evolve his game, and I think it's really translated over into this season. So losing that game at Westfall this year, it's kind of the similar situation as when we lost to Zane Chase last year, and I think we'll finish the way we did.
As you're heading down this stretch, for you personally and maybe as a team, what's one or two things you're really hoping to improve on or maybe tighten up on a little bit, to make that run and, get to the combo this year?
Personally, I think my defense is what I would try and tighten up on. Offensively, I think I can do a little bit of everything. So if we can all as a group play defense, I think we can go a lot farther.
Now, I think the one thing I've seen watching you play the last few years, football and basketball, you always seem, to have that maybe the flair of the dramatic. You're always in a big play, right? It seems like you always hit like a big three. You had like a bunch of big receptions on the football field. Is that something you just picture yourself doing, or how do you prepare yourself for those moments for the big plays?
Honestly, it's him. Before every game, or like the night before, he says picture those moments in your head before you go to sleep. So I do that a lot of the time.
You listen.
Yeah.
Hey.
It just comes naturally, I guess.
I would say, too, I do say that, but for the longest time, we've always joked about, Blake, how do you do that? And when he was younger, he'd say, it's what I do on Madden, or it's what I do on 2K. Like, he literally takes what he sees or does on his video games and tries to emulate that into a game. And I for some reason, it ends up working out for him. But,
So what you're saying is I should not get on my own son for playing Madden that much.
Allow it a little. See how it plays out, because that's what he's always told me. So, I had one more question, Blake, just in terms of we talked a little bit about that leadership aspect of it, and for so long you and KB both were quote unquote the little brothers, and a lot of times those guys, you guys don't really have to say a lot because your older brothers have always taken that role. Kind of talk about when you realized it was time for you to kind of not just lead by example, but be a little bit more vocal as well, whether it be football or into this basketball season. When did that light bulb just kind of click for you?
It definitely started in football season. I think we had just a bad practice one day, and I don't know. I thought to myself, like, it can't be like this all season. So me and a couple of guys were at someone's house, and we sat down and we talked about it, how we got to be leaders and just be the example for the guys under us. And I think it's translated into basketball for me and Caden at least. KB wasn't there, but he's definitely picked up a lot of what we've done.
Yeah, no doubt. What you got any pregame rituals or anything like that you like doing locker room? We know that
he likes to
KB
sleep.
likes to play Snoop Dogg. What do you like to do?
I take a nap every game. I gotta take a nap. If I don't get my nap, it's not a good game. So.
Got to take a nap.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or forget something at home.
Yeah,
that's a ritual.
Yeah. What's your plans after high school, Blake?
Go to play college football. I haven't decided where yet, but there's a few options I'd like to go to.
Okay, cool. Well, Coach, you got anything else?
Make sure you take out the trash when you go home tonight.
All right.
Well, one thing we learned is he does listen, so they should be done, right? When you
selective hearing. Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah. Okay, well, Blake, we appreciate you coming in here tonight, and KB also, and taking the time to talk with us. I know it's people out there watching, they enjoy listening to you guys talk about yourselves, your team, your play, and your leadership and stuff like that. So when we come back, we're going to have some more coaches lined up on the Haines Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Par-Mar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Par-Mar has it. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Par-Mar rewards card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to talk to you about our express service that we offer at every Glockner location. Did you know that you don't need an appointment if you need a routine service done to your vehicle? All you have to do is show up. No appointment necessary. Stop by and let us serve you at any Glockner location today.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at sosaohio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's sosaohio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Caleb Williams has transferred to Wendy's for the new loaded nacho cheeseburger.
This burger's my inspiration, and I just hope to inspire you.
Oh, you have inspired us.
Thought we were doing names on the headband.
Get it together. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new loaded nacho cheeseburger.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
The court on the court.
Welcome back to the Haines Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show. I'm Jeran Cox. Joined with me tonight, got Matt Hoops to my left and Christian Spradlin in front of us. And Coach, we just had Blake Hoops and KB Perkins in here, and I'll tell you, they're really impressive. Did really good interviews for high school kids and really opened up and talked about some things. But, to be honest, what wasn't seen on the video was more impressive to me. I just think the relationship that you had with them as they're leaving, and it's something just, obviously Blake's your kid, and so you've been around KB, but just the respect and the love and the trust between all you guys, it's something special.
It's real, man. It's real. Like when KB leaves my house to go home, just like Blake says, all right, I'm leaving, Dad, love you. Like KB says the same thing. Yeah. And, without getting too deep into it, but that's why you do it.
Yep.
That's why you do it. And it is a little bit different, obviously, because, he has been around Blake and my family his whole time here. And, but, just to see the interaction with those two guys, what you guys see is, that's not fake. Those guys are, they're funny like that, and, trying to make each other laugh. And it's just what's really cool about it. And I'm sure, your high school friends, when you have that, you have it for life. And, 40 years from now, 30 years from now, these guys will still be talking about stuff like that. And not really the games. It's the stuff off the court that they're going to remember and talk about, just like me and my friends do. So, it's cool to be able to watch your kids go through that and be a part of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously, we talk basketball, but you're right. It is about the other stuff sometimes, too, like just building those friendships, and having all these experiences together and stuff like that. Yep. So
it's what makes it special.
It does. So, okay, well, I believe we got our first coach on the line. We have Adena girls basketball coach, Andrew Day. Coach Day, you out there?
I am.
Coach, it's good to have you back on the show. We haven't had a chance to talk to you for a few weeks. I know you guys are sitting 7-4 right now overall, 4-2 in the SVC, and just had a big win against Jackson the other night. Lost a tough one at Greenfield. Talk about some of the things you guys have been working on and improving on here in the last couple of weeks.
Well, we the last couple of weeks we've really only had one game, the Jackson game, so it's kind of finally gave us a chance to just kind of get back to the basics on some things and work on some things that we've identified as some things that we need to improve at. So it's been nice having that. Normally I wouldn't like the long break that we've had over Christmas break, but it has been nice to be able to get back to the basics and kind of work on ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely something to that. Like you got to take care of yourselves before you worry about anything else. And I'm going to talk about anything else right now because you guys got a pretty good league game coming up. You got Southeastern, right? And Southeastern's been playing really well. They've won 2 games in a row. They beat Peebles the other night. They knocked off Waverly in double overtime, and they're playing much better. And just kind of give us like a little bit of a preview of what that game might look like for Adena.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a which team kind of dictates the tempo. Southeastern has 2 really good bigs in Hice and Rowan Ruckle. They want to pound the ball inside. They want to slow the game down a little bit. They're going to play mostly zone, and we're going to kind of do the opposite of all that. We're going to try to attack from the perimeter. We're gonna sit down and try to guard man and really get out into the passing lanes and really try to apply pressure. So it's really going to be one of those games where whoever gets the game to be played the way they want to play it is going to have the advantage. Yeah, go ahead.
Coach, it's Matt here. I just you talked about talked about their post presence, which is obvious, and then you mentioned something in your comments about getting out in the passing lanes and sitting down and playing defense. How much do you stress to your guards that their defense on the basketball is just as big as that post presence? I mean, as long as I coached, I couldn't. I mean, you'd think they're listening, but it is huge. I just wanted to hear your comment on that.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot the past couple of days. It's the most important thing you can do for post defense is really get after the person with the ball and not let them be comfortable and make a clean post entry. Because if a team is allowed to, especially with good post players, if they're allowed to enter the ball into the post where the post player wants it, then your post defender is at a big disadvantage. But if you can make them throw it off the spot that they want to catch it, now you've kind of flipped the advantage and you put yourself in a much better spot.
I remember, when I used to coach the Adena girls, good Lord, I bet it's been 10 years ago now, but I always felt like, piggybacking off the pressure on the perimeter, I always felt like one of the tricks that I always taught my girl that worked well was if you're guarding in the post, sometimes it's good to maybe step away and release that contact because, if you're posting up, you got your back, your butt, and your legs, you're using that contact to know where the defender's at so you can, hold them off, you can get your target hand out there, all that good stuff. But if you're quick enough and you can release that contact, that also gives you that chance to maybe sidestep and get in front and take away that passing lane also.
Guys, we're getting into the
X's and O's, bud. X's and O's.
Defense, and I don't know how much your audience loves it, but I could do this all night. These are things we talk about all the time, especially when you're guarding someone that's stronger than you. Mm-hmm. You can't try to fight around using physicality. You've got to break contact and use your quickness to then move your feet and get back in front of the offensive player. So. It's something that we talk about and work on often.
Coach, you talked about only playing once over the break. Did you guys obviously give some days off around the holidays and then maybe go a little bit longer on the days that you guys got in the gym, or how did you guys break that down?
Yeah, we took a few days off right around Christmas, but then we had Jackson on the 27th, so we came back on the 26th and practiced. But then, this week we haven't had any games, so we've spent a little longer in the gym every day, and tried to make sure we're staying in shape, which I'm not sure the girls love, but but yeah, it's been good to just have that time carved out where we're not necessarily preparing for an opponent. Like I said, we're just really getting after the things that we need to get after to get better.
Yeah, and I think the one thing too, Andrew, that I really like about your team, I haven't got to see them in person play, but I was able to watch the Unioto girls play Harvest Prep there. Was that last night, Matt? Last night, yeah. And I did see a few of your girls there. They came in with their Adena jackets. I said, well, that's pretty neat. They're coming out. They're interested in basketball. They're wanting to watch, what's going on. So it's good that, even though they haven't had a game, they're still staying involved. They can see what's going on and, seeing what things work against certain teams and stuff like that. But I wanted to go back to, you talked about Southeastern playing, a lot of zone, and Coach Hoops and I, we've talked a lot about how, offensively, usually you only have a couple, 2, 3, maybe 4 sets against a zone. Is that something maybe you guys have spent extra time on this week? Maybe putting in some extra quick hitters or things like that?
Yeah, we have. We've done that this week. Put in a couple of zone sets that we haven't run this year. But you're right. I think to your point, you usually don't have a ton of zone sets. It's a situation where you want to have some things if you really need to get something right away. But we really want to work on moving the basketball and attacking gaps and creating advantages. And truthfully, we haven't seen a whole lot of zone this year. We've seen some box and one on Marley, but most of the teams we played haven't zoned us. So we just haven't had to put a whole lot of concerted effort into making sure we have all those sets ready to go for it.
Are some of your sets, are they designed for both man and zone? I know, I remember I used to always have a play, and I think it's pretty common out there now. I just called it, 4 low, where you had one baseline coming all the way across, had a double screen for them. They were going out looking for the 3. The bottom of the double pick kind of curls right off the top man, looking for a little bounce pass or whatever, about the volleyball line. But it's, we use that against man or zone. Is that you guys got plays you use against both man and zone?
Yeah, we do. We have a couple. And it's kind of funny, in our Jackson game, we expected them to be playing zone on baseline out of bounds. So not seeing yet what they were going to be lined up in, I called a zone out of bounds play, and our girls executed it really well. They were playing man, but our girls executed it really well, and we still got a good look, and we still scored out of it. So I think a lot of times, we can really obsess over, man stuff or zone stuff, but 90% of the time, both of you guys know this, it comes down to execution. Do you do the little things? Do you set good screens? Do you go shoulder to shoulder off of screens? Do you catch the ball shot ready? If you do those things well, most of the time, you're going to create open looks.
Yep. Make 2 guard 1 and then play out of it, right, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you hit it. Sometimes it's just the kids reading things and reacting and stuff like that. So, and I think, just having Marley and J.C. Smith and some of those other girls back this year and getting more experience, they're just going to get better as the year goes on. So, well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight. We hope to hear back from you. I'm not sure. We haven't decided what we're doing next week yet. I think Ohio State plays next Friday night, so we don't know what we're doing yet. But maybe we talk to you next week. It might be 2 weeks. We're not real sure yet, but we do appreciate you taking the time to call in and talk to us tonight.
Good luck, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Appreciate all you guys do.
All right, thanks. Yep. So that's a big SVC girls game. You know, I mean, Southeastern. You know, they're 6-7 and 2-4. But you know, you said it right when we got Coach Dale on the line. Southeastern's been playing a lot better. Christmas break was good to them.
Yeah, I think so. And when we talked to Coach Hice earlier, you know, he kind of felt like that's probably what, you know, that was his goal. And you know, those girls have bought in and are headed in the right direction.
Yeah, they had I think Gracie Brown coming back was like their lone returning guard. And it was just one of those things where those other girls just had to get game experience, right? Let the game slow down for them. And it sounds like that's what they did because, you know, Waverly, they're not a bad team. And that's a big win for Southeastern, big win for the SVC.
Especially to hang in there in 2 overtimes and get it done. So
Absolutely. So, okay. So we next coach on the line, we've got Minford boys basketball coach Josh Shoemaker.
All right.
Coach, you out there?
Yep, good to go.
All right, man. Sounds good. Appreciate you calling in and talking to us. And, you know, as I was preparing for the show tonight, I was just sitting here looking at you guys' schedule and the scores and stuff. And here you are, man. 6-0, averaging 72 points a game. Now, what's the secret to scoring that many
it's
points?
like riding a bike, Coach.
Well, we're playing fast, and, you know, there's a lot more possessions with the style we're playing. And you also got to shoot a high percentage. I think today was, you know, we played Valley tonight, and Dave Stam showed me on the radio afterwards what the you know, 2-point field goal percentage was, and it was something insane. It was above 50, 60. So it's about guys sharing the ball, and, you know, you take good shots, and when that's contagious, you know, shooting percentages go up. You score more points. We're able to put up 83 tonight, but it's about the players. You know, they share the ball, and they take high percentage shots, and it makes the coaches a good thing.
Is it safe to assume with that high a percentage and scoring that many points tonight that you were able to create a lot of easy points off of your defense, Coach?
Well, you would think, but our press, we thought it was garbage around halftime.
Typical.
Well, we gave up 8 threes to Braxton Conaway. However, we want to give up threes in transition, but I didn't like a couple of our rotations. I think we gave them offense, and we were doing other things, though, that was really, really good. But like we say always again, I hear you guys laughing. We did good, and we overcame coaching once again. So.
That's not the case at all, Coach. And obviously, when you're pressing like that, and it's high risk, high reward. And you know, some nights those 8 threes that you gave up are just quick shots, and you turn around coming the other way. So the percentages usually play out, and you guys are good enough and experienced enough, and have done this long enough that you know, obviously you guys took care of business tonight. Talk a little bit about what you guys did over the break, Coach.
Well, we went to New Hope, and if anyone doesn't know anything about New Hope Christian Academy, if they were in the OHSA, they would definitely know about them. They'd be a D7 school, and they would be flat out kicking butt. They'd be a top 4 seed. We ran into them last year. Fortunately, had to cancel, and they couldn't make it up, and we had about a 10-day lull between break. And we were able to schedule them, and they came down and played us, and it's like, who the heck are these guys? They're good. Last year they beat a couple league teams, West and Waverly. And so we had to return a game this year, and they moved it to Higher Christian College. So they have a small school, so our Higher Christian University. One of our assistant coaches, Shane Davis, his daughter Kenny, plays on the volleyball team. So we had a great experience. Went up there and played them over the break, and our press was, again, hot garbage. It was terrible. We weren't happy, and it goes back to what you said. It's about tempo, though. You're watching the other teams slowly wear down. Yep. And some of the old Unioto teams, when you were deep, it's like, all right, first quarter, guys, let's just not give them easy looks. Let's give them quick looks, but, you can't break the press and give up. Anybody in high school would hit a wide open 3. I tell everybody, but they get contested and the percentage goes down, or make it put off the floor. But catch and shoots is one of the biggest things in the press, and layups, of course, and fouls. But the new rules have helped pressing teams.
Right.
5 fouls in a quarter. Oh, that's great. Second quarter, we start over. Sweet. Thank you. So you can press and not be in that stupid bonus in the second quarter. Now, if we couldn't press, I'd be saying, thank God for the bonus, because my team thinks they can't break a press. So it depends on what you have in the barn. You know what I mean? If you got the horses, it's great. Yeah. If you got the horses, it's great. If you got an old neigh in there, you're like, oh, let's just slow it down, boys. It just depends on what you got. But But you also have to have a deep bench, and that's where, everyone knows about Bennett Kaiser and Jack Shoemaker and Miles Montgomery and everyone, but it's really, we're able to go 10 deep this year. And over the break, what you asked is, we had a lot of time in the gym, but we're able to develop our role players. And it's fun because our practices,
competitive.
They fight. We switch them up.
Yep.
We switch up teams every day. Our starters don't get to play a lot together because I don't want to take that edge away. This week, we had them rank the craziest from the non-crazy one night. On the players had to rank them. It was funny because we have 10 kids. The top 5 craziest were on one team. They didn't realize that was going to be. And the bottom 5 craziest. So the players, my son was number 1, unfortunately. But anyway.
I can relate.
Yeah, no crap. I know. I've seen it. Trust me. Yeah, I've seen it. I love them. I love your kids, but woo, they like to give their dad trouble.
Oh yeah.
But
it's easy sitting in the stands watching it.
Oh, every coach's kid loves to give their dad hell. But anyways, radio. All right, check. But anyway, but how we went, it was the top 5 was all our seniors, and I never thought it was going in. So we try to do fun stuff over break to pick teams, and so they just absolutely ran them. And Craig Kaiser said it best. He said, "Hey, all you non-crazy dudes better get some crazy in you if you want to compete, because they got ran this week." So, but you try to do stuff fun over break, and especially when you got the deep team. And we're fortunate, but we got a couple guys out this year who didn't play in the past. Recruited a couple soccer kids, Ty Borland, Martin Napier was kind of on the fence. If we don't have them, our practices aren't near as good. We're bringing up a couple JV kids who aren't ready. So so in practices, your second 5 are the most important, because those are the guys making your top 5 better. But they're really getting time in now, and it's paying off. So it's fun to see. We're in a good spot, but it's one of those things where you can press teams who don't like to be pressed, but can we press the really good teams? And I think against Hilliard Davidson, it looked like we weren't be able to, but then at the end we were able to. But we'll see. That's always the big thing. As you go deeper in the year, can you still play in the style you're playing, or do you have to adjust?
Is that something that you are thinking about, or are you going to say that, this is us and this is how we're going to go as far as it can take us, or are you trying to work maybe a little bit on your half court, both offense and defense, knowing that there's going to come a game or a time, maybe in the tournament, that you're going to have to be able to play that style as well?
Yeah, I mean, for someone with a really low IQ who's coached a lot of basketball, that was a great question. But
I got a better one after this one.
No, but it's 100% true. That's 100% true. Are you guys going to focus on teams? The better your competition you get, the farther you go. Or, our non-conference isn't saying this year, a good thing. Someone's going to break our press, so then what do? We just keep pressing, give up late? No, you sit down at the half court. But you don't just throw it away. You say, if our press is what's making us go, Ironton did a good job of breaking our press, but I think we slowly wore them down, and that's what you got to focus on. What shots is the other team getting? And are they making those shots in the third, late in the third and the fourth quarter? Are they tired? So our press sometimes might not look great, but it might be, as Phil Jackson would say, count and coup, because maybe we're wearing you out early on to try to build up something later.
Right, and as well as I do as a coach, sometimes we get a little bit impatient, and if you're not getting the results that you want early, you just pull the plug on that thing sometimes too soon. Now, my next question is, you talked about the racehorses that you do have. Does that mean that you're going to be coaching any games coming up in like a jockey outfit, since you're in charge of this thing? That's what I want to know.
No, you wouldn't want to go to that. Yeah. Hey, we ain't like Gallion, Unioto, and all these pretty coaching staffs. I got some horses.
Goodness.
I got the workhorses. We ain't wearing the fancy suits and the pants. Some of my coaching shirts, not for me, but I had to get XL. A 3XL, a 4XL. I got some big boys on the staff. So.
You know that the only good thing that I feel like came from COVID was I could quit wearing that jacket and tie, because then I didn't have to wear it anymore. So that was the blessing, man.
You guys were good. You're good looking. We always said we might not be able to look better in Unioto, but if we want to fight outside, we're whooping their hind end.
Oh, my gosh. Those teams back then.
I got Jared McCrae and Shane Davis. You know what I mean? Not me. I ain't with nobody. It's those guys.
You and I can sit back and talk and let it happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, your face too pretty, Punch.
Jaron, you got any questions
I don't
left?
know what's going on over here. I'm just laughing.
It's what you get. It's what you get. When you guys put these guys on the radio, that's what you get.
Well, the common denominator is you.
Oh, here we go.
Now, the one thing I was going to ask you about, Coach, is, well, first of all, I was going to go back about 15 questions from Coach Hoops over here. The New Hope, when I was coaching, we got to play them. They are the real deal.
Yeah, I talked to their coach earlier this year, man.
His
he's
coach,
good.
He's a fantastic guy. He's really been through a lot, and I've got nothing but a lot of respect for him. But the one thing I wanted to ask you about, and it's not really relevant maybe to your team this year, but I think it's something on the horizon, and just the way you guys play, pressing. This past weekend in Canton, I believe, they had like a little tournament, had shot clocks, first time ever in Ohio. And I just kind of want to get your opinion about a shot clock coming into Ohio and how maybe that might affect your style of play in the future.
Okay, so everyone thinks shot clock and they think that it's going to speed up the game. Most teams don't even need a shot clock. When it's needed for is when you're playing the team and they're trying to slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, and you guys got to go back. You want to go back a few years. Thad Matta with Greg Oden, some of those teams. 35-second college shot clock. He would go 1-2-2, or he'd run a little 2-2-1, and then by the time you broke it, it wasn't an aggressive press.
Yep.
It just killed time.
It was we're gonna slow you down, and then when you get it across here, you're gonna have about 14 seconds. To run or 20 seconds to get in your stuff. And then if we put a little more pressure on the wings, most college, high school offense, wing entry, is what it is. Then you take a little more time off. So I think as a coach, I think I'm looking at more defensively because offensively, there aren't many schools holding it, especially in today's game. There aren't players really.
Players don't have enough attention span to be able to do anything for longer than 20 seconds. You're right.
Well, and you got too many kids who play too many sports, and they're not really basketball first dudes. So, I'm going to recruit more kids coming out playing slow. That's going to work. But I can't. But guys like a Norm Pearson, back in the day, God, when Norm was at Oak Hill, if he was up 4, he might have been up 40. Mm-hmm. Because they're going to pull that sucker out, and I'm going to send some stupid trap, and they're going to backdoors for a lap or whatever. So me being on the other side of that, thank God for a shot clock. But coaching in the future, I'm using it to my advantage defensively because I'm going to make you, even if I'm bad, even if we don't press, I'm still going to have some type of something up front to where you're going to have to, just get something before you get in your actions.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was getting at. I think the teams necessarily won't press to steal it as much.
Kill time.
Yes, just make you use 8 or 9 seconds to get it across half court. By the time you get it back to your point guard and get set up, you're really looking at like 10 to 15 seconds so that you're looking at defending 1, maybe 2 actions in that time frame.
Right.
Yep. And then how many high school kids have 5 guys that can shoot it?
Yep.
How many guys have 5 put on the floor? So then their matchups get more important. Minford now, but general, you know what I mean?
You're right.
No, I'm just
right.
saying, no, we got some guys they're playing at a high level, but in general, in the years past, we've had 2 or 3 at most.
Exactly.
So, and that's where it's going to be really interesting. But I don't think a lot of people realize it's going to change defense more than it may offense.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, Coach,
I hope other coaches are done with it and think it's an offensive change. So, and we'll be ahead of the curve maybe.
Yeah. Well, Coach, we appreciate you calling in and talking to us tonight. I always enjoy listening to you and Hoops over here, just going back and forth. But, started league play back up. So, obviously, you got teams that know you guys better and maybe do some things and help you pick up some few things you need to improve on here as the season goes on. And looking forward to a good run for Minford. And hopefully we can hear back from you here in a week or 2.
Yeah, just like I said, call me. I'm at home in the evenings watching film. Hoops already ruined that tonight. I'll just see his face. You think when you go to radio, my mom always told me I had a face that pisses people off. But you think about with Hoops, he has a voice too. He has a face and a voice.
You can't hide from me, man. You can't hide from me.
Yeah, it just cuts to me. I'm like, oh, he retired. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's nice and relaxed. It's nice.
It was great.
Yeah.
Hey, I said, man, Unioto's going to fall down when Hoops leaves. I'm like, what? I'm like, they're going to start winning better than they ever have. And look at them. They're doing great.
That's what Blake says, too. That's what my son says. So.
Oh, that's what I'm like, my God. they're exceeding expectations right now. Like I said, they've overcome coaching for years, same as Minford.
Yeah, you know
Works out
what?
well.
And I'm tired of kind of listening to you on the phone. Next time you're coming up here and you're going to sit in between us and
Yeah,
you're going to talk. So
that's
we're going
exactly right.
we're going to arrange that. So we'll get that. We'll get with your agent and see if we can get you in here one Friday night.
Hey, like we said, I'm going to bring McClain and Davis with me.
They can wait
And you bring your
outside.
two
It's
biggest-
cold.
We'll just sit back and watch.
I hear you.
Nah, you guys are great. You appreciate you, but no, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Let me call you and give you some absolutely terrible wisdom.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach. Good luck next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, we played it tomorrow night, but I guess you're not thanking me. I guess you're rooting for North Adams. So, all right.
Wait. Hold on a second.
All right, here we go.
Copus is gone, so yeah, I'm still rooting. No, I'm kidding. Good luck tomorrow night, man.
Listen, thank God he's gone. He's been my nightmare for 2 years.
It's not a tournament game. You'll be fine.
God, there it is. There it is. There it is. There's the news. Yeah.
Good luck,
I'll talk
Coach.
to you guys never.
All right, buddy.
All right, appreciate
See you, man.
it, guys. All right, see you. Bye.
Wow.
He's a good friend.
I can tell you guys are good friends, but he brings a lot of knowledge to the.
He does,
show,
man.
too.
He's done it for a long time. And I think he does it the right way. There's a lot of pressure on him coaching his own son, coaching a great team.
Yep.
And the results speak for themselves, man. He just keeps getting it done year after year, and he's a great guy. Anytime that when I was coaching, if I had ideas or if I had questions or I had just needed something, you call him, and he was one of those guys that were always there.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. He's done a fantastic job, and like you said, you know this too. Is there's pressure when you coach your own kids
or just a good team.
Yes,
I mean add both of those in, it's a lot. So yeah,
no doubt about it. So I think we have our next coach on the line. We have Greenfield boys basketball coach Jarrod Haines. Coach, you out there?
Yeah, what's up, Jeran?
Oh, not much. How you doing, man?
I can't complain.
Yeah, I hear you. So, it's been a few weeks since we talked to you, Coach, and, we first year coming back to the boys' side. You guys are off to a 3-3 start and most recently beat Adena. And, just talk to us about, what you did over Christmas break and, some of the things you were really looking to improve on offensively over Christmas.
Yeah, a lot, actually. A big goal for us is we got to compete in our league, and it's tough. Our league is
no nights off.
Super good. So, we showed some signs of that. We went to Jackson and had a really good second half and almost pulled off that upset. But, it's been it's been a good year. Not so much worried about our offense, but more defense. And I've watched a lot of film over the break, and I broke down a lot of the small things that we need to work at. So it's kind of been our focus over the Christmas break is just getting better defensively, not just worried about how much I'm scoring, but how much I'm holding my opponent to. So, we've had a lot of discussions about that over the break.
I think that's the one thing that's been pretty solid for you. You're only giving up like 45.5 points a game. And, usually most of the time, when you're only giving up 45 points a game, you're going to be in it, in a varsity boys basketball game. And, like you said, man, your league it is super tough this year, right? You got Miami Trace, who I think is still undefeated. Washington Courthouse is very good. Hillsborough returns the player of the year in the FAC.
Chillicothe's
Chillicothe.
Yeah,
I think they knocked off Hillsborough, and it's just like Coach Hoops and you said, man. There's no nights off in that league, and I think the fact that you were knocking on the door and just lost to Jackson by 1, I think it shows that your kids are really improving, and they're knocking on the door and they're just right there.
Yeah. I knew what I was getting into with this, and, I didn't know our league was going to be as good as this. Not that I didn't know, it's kind of come to the realization, the length, the space, boys cover compared to girls is totally different. It's kind of been an awakening to me, just because, when I'm going through practices, these boys are doing a lot better than 15 years of girls. Trying to put them in space and the ground they're covering, it's just Totally. That's been a huge difference, I think, in that game. So I was just really surprised. Like when we went to Miami Trace, and the length that they have is just unbelievable. You know, what they have on the wings and inside. So, you know, it's been kind of an awakening for me. So, you know, so we just get to the drawing board and we got to get better. And I'll never be satisfied. I guess I'm more of a defensive-minded coach, so I'll never be satisfied with the way we play defensively and the letdowns we have. But yeah, we're 3-3. We won 4 games, 5 games last year, whatever it is. So we're definitely competing. Coming back and giving Jackson a run, that was a huge momentum shift for us. And I've seen that these kids, you know, they have the fight in them. So it's been a fun season for sure.
Coach, what do you guys? Who do you guys have coming up?
We're at the Chad Hodson Classic tomorrow night, or actually afternoon, against Blanchester.
Well, what's kind of your game plan, or what's that matchup look up for you guys? I mean, it looks like you guys are 3-0 in non-conference play right now. Is this another game you're looking to win?
Yeah, it favors us. We like to get out and pressure, and it's a team that we can get out and pressure. So I do think it favors us. And then we got Lynchburg on Tuesday, and then Chillicothe on Friday. So it's just going to get tougher. Then we go like Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, one of those weeks is Hillsborough, Unioto. So it's just going to get tougher, and we, that's the reason I think we need to get better defensively to keep ourselves in those games.
You're spoken like a true coach, especially from McClain. Obviously, defense. That you never miss a shot defensively, and if you can get those guys to buy in on that end of the floor and really, perform at a high level, you're going to be in a lot of games, and that's tough to do in terms of getting kids to really believe in that. And I think, Coach, once you get them there, and then they start getting easy baskets off of it, it's a big thing. So. I mean, I think what you're doing is the right thing, and you're doing it early, and you're preaching it often, and you're standing by it, and I think it's really going to pay off for you.
Yeah, I hope so. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but that's part of coaching. No, I've been very pleased with the decision to come back and coach the boys, and I think that they're buying in and they're working hard, and that's all you can ask for. Life lessons learned, and hard work will pay off.
Has there been maybe one or two guys that, maybe you can lean on now or really bought in that maybe help, foster some of the young kids in and get into what you're trying to teach and preach and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, for sure. The senior class has really bought in. Zane Adams has led us offensively. I think he's at 15 a game. He's actually stepped up his game and played some pretty good defense. Jordan Bells Jr., he's averaging 10 for us, I think. He's our point guard. I mean, any close game, he doesn't come out of the game. He's had a really good year for us. Owen Sykes kind of does it all for us. He's rebounded the ball really well. He scored again. He had a nice game against Adena the other night. And Riley Cummins, another senior that kind of stars for us, is kind of, drawing the card to be our defensive dog. And Brandon Green has done some real good things. So those are kind of 5 upperclassmen that have really stepped up for us. And then we bring some underclassmen off the bench. So, no, they've really bought in, have done a really good job. I'm really waiting for that rewarding win for them, to see their hard work that's kind of paid off and everything they've been through in the last 4 seasons of their high school careers. So hopefully we can get that big win this year here in 2025. That will, we keep them digging deep and keep competing. Because you guys both know, coaching basketball, it's the longest season. And sometimes it can be miserable, but it hasn't been. It's been upbeat. We fought every day. We've gotten better. We've had a couple setbacks, but, it hasn't deterred their effort at all.
Yeah, good stuff, Coach. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight, Jarrod, and
no problem, man.
Keep grinding, and wish you the best of luck tomorrow, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Good luck, Coach.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk about my kids.
No problem. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, Matt. When we come back, we're going to have more coaches lined up on the Haines Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Par-Mar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Par-Mar has it. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Par-Mar rewards card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to talk to you about our express service that we offer at every Glockner location. Did you know that you don't need an appointment if you need a routine service done to your vehicle? All you have to do is show up. No appointment necessary. Stop by and let us serve you at any Glockner location today.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at sosaohio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's sosaohio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Caleb Williams has transferred to Wendy's for the new loaded nacho cheeseburger.
This burger's my inspiration, and I just hope to inspire you.
Oh, you have inspired us.
Thought we were doing names on the headband.
Get it together. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new loaded nacho cheeseburger.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie & Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Welcome back to the Haines Total Healthcare Basketball Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa, sponsored by Haines Total Healthcare. Since 1974, Haines Total Healthcare has been proudly serving the Chillicothe community and surrounding counties, providing exceptional care to over 50,000 patients every year. Whether you're seeking chiropractic care, physical therapy, or nutritional guidance, we've got you covered. From athletes to seniors, and from pediatrics to geriatrics, we treat patients of all ages, helping you live pain-free, stay active, and feel your best. With a place in the top 1% of clinics nationwide, you can trust that you're in good hands. We're open 6 days a week, ready to serve your family for years to come. Haines Total Healthcare Center, where healing happens for every stage of life. Call for an appointment today or visit us at haineshealth.com. So here we are back, Matt, and just had a couple really good coaches on the line talk to us. We had Coach Day from Adena girls. We had Coach Shoemaker from Minford boys, and Coach Haines from the Greenfield boys. And it looks like we got our next coach on the line. We got Coach Doug Hice from Southeastern Lady Panthers basketball. Coach, you out there?
Yes.
Coach, good to hear from you. And it sounds like your Lady Panthers, been playing pretty well here recently. Had picked up two really big wins, one against Peebles, 41-35, and what I thought was another really good win, double overtime, 65-62 win against Waverly. So talk to us about what's been going well for you here over Christmas break.
Well, the biggest thing is our turnover coming down, and our shooting percentage is going up. And then probably the biggest thing for us is we moved Gracie Brown to the point, and I think things are starting to calm down a little bit for her now, and she's starting to get used to run the point, and that's helping us a bunch.
Yeah, I think I remember when we were talking to you earlier in the season about her making that adjustment, and she really just needed the game to slow down, and maybe some of your other younger guards that get that varsity game experience, let the game slow down, and Gracie figure out, how to get your team into an offense, get the ball back to her in scoring positions. And it sounds like here, as you guys, get the second half of the season here, things are really starting to point in that direction for you.
Yeah, I think the game has really slowed down for her a bunch, and like we got usually our subs is all sophomores, so they're starting to get more minutes and get more comfortable. And but the biggest thing for us is our two bigs is really still playing at a high level, and so when we shoot the ball pretty well and our turnovers come down, we're an okay team.
Coach, what about that? That Waverly game's intriguing to me because I know they like to play at a almost like warp speed in terms of pressing and running, and
yes, they do.
And you guys do not. So what was it? Double overtime. Was it your style that ended up winning out? Kind of just talk to us about, because I felt like that's a really big win for you guys.
Yeah, like you said, they like to push it up and down, and they did. And, for a little while we had trouble starting the basketball. And finally my guards got on sync what we wanted to do, and they started starting the basketball up around the three-point line, so I just let them get into the paint area. And once we slowed that down a little bit, and then that gave us a chance. I think Reese Ruckle really had a tremendous game. I think she had 28 points, 22 rebounds.
My goodness.
And she shot 81% from the field. So, once we got it where we want to get it, we really took care of it and scored the basketball.
Yeah, Coach, I think that's the one thing is, you getting these two big wins, and your girls are figuring out, hey, we get the ball inside, we pound it inside to Reese, you pound it inside to Rowan. And it takes some of that pressure off of Gracie, but it also maybe opens her up a little bit. And now that you've got these two big wins, I think last time we talked to you about maybe getting a big win or two, your confidence goes up, your girls are buying in. And what's kind of your goals here going into the second half of the SVC? I know you guys finished or are 2-4 right now. Just talk about, is there maybe one or two games out there that you think you might be able to pick up here in this second round with your girls getting more confidence?
Yeah, we think we can. But, the bad thing is every coach thinks they can. We, like you said, we was 2-4 this first round. And, some of the games we got beat in, we thought we played pretty well. So it wasn't really that we wasn't playing well. But, then we went on a streak. We lost 5 in a row, and we just didn't play well. So, we think there's some teams we can play with the second round. We've got federal hockey tomorrow, which will be a handful. And then we come back out next week, and Wednesday we got Adena, and Saturday we got Huntington. So, we got 3 big games ahead of us coming up.
If my memory serves me correctly, I think I watched federal hockey last year down at Waverly, and the district beat Adena. And if I remember, man, they just had a couple of really scrappy guards. I feel like one of their best players was a freshman last year, and that they really harassed you out on the perimeter and tried to press you and make it, a 94-foot game. Yeah,
they like to get up down. They're all super quick. Like you said, they're scrappy. They're tough. That freshman you was talking about, her name is Cottrell.
Yes.
And she's special. So, and the bad thing is they all shoot well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, they're fast, they shoot well. They'll be a handful for us tomorrow. But if we can stop the basketball a little bit, and like you said, try to get it slowed down to our pace, we think we got a chance.
Yeah, and I think the other thing you kind of hit on earlier that can help you start looking at some statistics. You talk about cutting down on your turnovers. Well, if you cut down on your turnovers, you're going to get more shots up, right? And so you get more shots up, and your percentage, if your shooting percentage is going up, that could, get you an extra 6-8 points a game or whatever. And I think, not to beat a dead horse, but I think it's just one of those things too, like we mentioned earlier, just getting that varsity experience for your girls and the game slowing down and taking care of the ball, just little things. It sounds so simple, but it's true,
Yeah, it is. And that's where the biggest thing we've worked on. So, all over break is turnovers and our field goal percentage. And, you'd think a varsity basketball team would shoot basketball, but sometimes it don't work that way. So we put a lot of I need to think how many shots we shot in the last week.
Well, the other thing, too, is, Coach, if you're not turning it over, and with your guys' size, if you're just getting it up on the glass, sometimes that's just as good as a post feed. If you can get it up there and let your girls go get it and rebound it, that works, too.
Right.
So.
Well, you talk about the Waverly game. You're not going to believe me. We had 40 turnovers. But, yes. But
how many shots? You must have shot the ball extremely well.
Hey, we had 60 rebounds.
Wow.
So
well, you're plus 20. That's a great recipe.
If you never thought that you can't win a game with 40 turnovers, you're wrong. But
I know one guy that has now.
It's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
And that's what we keep preaching to the kids. What if we'd only had, let's say, 30 turnovers?
Yeah.
It would have got 10 more shots. You know what I mean? And that's horrible. But that's what we're preaching right now. We played, like you said, People's Saturday, and we had 19 turnovers.
There you go.
And that's a bunch, but that's not as much as 40.
Heck no. Is it
so,
like, do you guys? I mean, obviously you chart that stuff, but like, do you just sit down and say, girls, listen, I mean, even if you start as simple as 4 or 5 a quarter, all right, let's just baby steps in terms of, like, they only play with one ball for a reason, it's important. You got to make sure that you guys take care of that thing, and you got to start somewhere. And it sounds like you guys are, it's not like you're trying to turn the ball over, and your girls are improving, but it's very important that they understand to take care of that thing.
Well, I think we are. I think it's a little bit of everything. I think we're getting kind of used to the game speed. I think we're getting more kids, more experience. And I think we're just getting better. So with all that happening, our numbers are coming down, and it shows. We're in some games now.
Yep. Coach, before we get off the phone with you tonight, your JV team's having a really great year. I was just going to give you a second to talk about, what their record is and things like that. Because I think the last time I saw you guys, I think they were still undefeated.
Yes, they're still undefeated.
Okay.
Having a real good season. Some games we ain't got to play because, some teams just don't have JV teams. But they'll get 4 quarters tomorrow, which will be good for them. They got 4 against Peoples, which is good for them. And, they're having an outstanding season. They got a bunch of young kids. We got a couple of sophomores thrown in there with them. And Coach Turner's doing an outstanding job with that bunch. And they just enjoy playing.
Yeah, I think, the one game that I was there, and you did have a couple, pretty good athletes down there, I thought, playing at the JV level. So you definitely have some other girls coming up to help, and, not looking past this year or whatever, right? But it's not like the cupboard's bare for you either. I think you got, the future is definitely bright for you guys.
Well, you're right. We got some good young kids down there, and, if they wouldn't have the kind of year they're having, I probably would have stole some kids for little bits. But, I kind of hate to mess them up right now. And, we're glad we didn't because, my older kids are starting to get better now. And so we're glad that it's working out the way it's working out. And but you're right, our JV team's having a wonderful year, and we couldn't be prouder of them.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate you staying up late this Friday night and talking to us, and looking forward to the Lady Panthers keep improving. You guys are going nice 2-game win streak. Got a couple big games coming up, and wish you the best of luck.
All right, guys. We appreciate it.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I must say, Coach Hoops, I've never heard of a team having 40 turnovers
and
still win the game. How's that possible?
You don't have any hair. My hair is gray. I don't know what we would look like after a game like that. 40. 10 a quarter.
Yeah. But, you are right. Sometimes.
Get it up on the glass
just
and go
throw it up
rebound.
there and let the
Monk,
big dogs eat.
Coach Monk, when he was coaching JV for us one year, we had a team that was a little bit young and inexperienced at the JV level, and those guys would turn it over at will as well. And his game plan ended up just being, guys, shoot it before we turn it over. So when we cross half court, someone get a shot up so we can at least have a chance. But, in all seriousness, if you can, what did you say Southeastern was, 6 and 7?
They're 6 and 7 right now, yeah.
I mean, if they can get that under control, they're probably looking at a winning record.
Yeah, and
moving forward.
Yeah, and the one like if it's live ball turnovers, those are a lot worse. Yes, there's a big point differential. So. Okay, I think the next coach we have lined up is Huntington girls basketball coach Kyle Uhrig. And Coach, are you out there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, daggone it, I told you earlier to come in here on the studio. We just talked to you in here, and here we are, 11:05. You're on the phone.
Yeah, now I wish it's past my bedtime. I wish I would have now. I figured Hoops was going to be a little late, but I think Coach Hoops must have been real late tonight.
No, come on, man. I was 15 minutes early. We were at Piketon tonight, but we got done, and there's no freshman game, so we were plenty of time.
Okay. I knew you were on the road again tonight, so I was a little worried about somebody said something about 10:15. It stretched to 10:45. I thought, man, they forgot about me.
Well, what happened was Coach Shoemaker from Minford kind of stole the show there for a little while, and we couldn't get him calmed down.
He's not lying, Coach.
I assume that you guys made me last because I can talk a lot. So I know Hoops always gives me a hard time about that. So I figured I'm wrapping things up just in case I take too long.
Well, we hit you in the 5-hole tonight. We were going to lead you off, but we had to get these other guys in. Hitting 5th, we still do have a time limit on you, though.
Okay, I'll abide.
Well, Coach, you guys coming into tonight, 6 and 3 overall, 4 and 2 in the SVC, had a pretty good season. You guys did have a tough one there. I think it was over Christmas break to Valley, falling 46-44. And I got to talk to you for a minute earlier. We had you and Allie Baker in here a couple weeks ago, and I think that she's closing in on 1,000. I think you said she was like, 60 or 70 away, something like that. And just kind of talk to us a little bit about what's been going on with Huntington girls basketball here since the last time we talked to you.
Yeah, we were in a few weeks ago. I think that was before we went to Green. Went down to Green and actually got a really good win to start the break, right at the very beginning of the break, which they were 6-0. Went down there, played really well. I think 150-42. Got some really good production, not only out of Allie, but Braylon Houseworth had 10 points and 18 rebounds down there. And, had some good production out of some of our kids that we've been needing production out of. And then, we had Valley last Saturday, and that was a tough one. I felt like we let one get away. We were up 7 going into the fourth quarter and ended up getting beat. It just felt like maybe over the break we weren't in as good a shape going into that game as what we had been, when we were playing a couple times a week, and we had a 9-day layoff, and I felt like it really hurt us. And probably didn't use our bench as much as I should have throughout that game, and lost by 2. Again, Valley's a really good team, but was one that we definitely felt like we should have got. So pretty disappointing, but, back at it this week and trying to get back in basketball shape and be ready to go, because we play Alexander at home tomorrow, who's a really good opponent that beat us in the sectional final last year and basically returned their entire roster. So we got our hands full again tomorrow evening.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I think, if I'm going off my memory here, I think Alexander is leading the TVC. Am I right on that?
I think Athens is leading it, and I think Athens did beat them. I think right. They might have lost to Fed Hop too, maybe. But again, it's a really good conference. Alexander's playing really good basketball. We actually got to go down and watch them on Monday night. They beat a really good South Gallia team on a last-second shot. So they're playing really good basketball. It's going to be a fun night out in the hills tomorrow night. We got a boys and girls. We're doing that 4 times this year, where we're playing girls and boys on the same night, just so that our fans can get to our games. And I think we're all really excited about that. So we play. It starts at 3. I think there's a freshman boys game, JV boys game, and then varsity girls, varsity boys tomorrow night. So should be a fun night for us.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing. Obviously I was out at Huntington tonight, and the one thing, like a small school like Huntington, I thought was pretty neat. And, I recognized Allie just because she was in here, but it looked like, some of your other girls players, they were up there on the stage, they were supporting the boys. And I'm sure it's the same, when you guys are playing, the boys are up there cheering the team on. But, that's the kind of stuff that you want to see from a small school. And, I think that's just, it's good. I think it speaks a lot about the kids' characters, just, their overall, the good attitudes, they're supporting their classmates, their teammates and stuff like that. And just talk about, you're a Huntington guy. How important is that for people out in the township?
It's funny you bring that up, because I talked to Tyler Cassidy today on the phone before he came out. He was calling and, just catching up a little bit. And Tyler's a great guy out of St. Trace. I actually hired him at Circleville as the head basketball coach several years ago. And he was just talking about, the atmosphere. And when he was leaving tonight, we were having a conversation, and he couldn't believe how many people were in the bleachers. And, again, at the SVCs, that's what you get every night. And, out at Huntington, our people support us no matter what. And, it's great to see, and it's nice when the kids support each other as well. And we really have that this year. Both our programs kind of supporting each other. And it'll be a really fun night. We had some parents and some people that were upset last year a little bit because we couldn't get to everybody's games. I think we overlapped maybe something like 4 or 5 times last year where we played on the same night. And I know Justin Keller, our AD, done a great job this year of just saying, hey, we're gonna play our non-league games and try to play as many of them on the same nights as we can, so we don't have that happen again. Done a great job being able to get us 4 of these. We still have all 4 of them to go. I think we do this against 4 different opponents. I think Alexander's one of them, and then 3 more as we go down the stretch here. So it should be good for our fans, and going to be nice for them to see both teams on the same night. And I think our girls even play last a couple of those nights. So just going to be good for our kids.
Well, let's just go back to this game tomorrow, Coach. Obviously you probably had this one circled since the sectional final last year. If you guys are going to be successful tomorrow, if you're going to be able to pull off this win, what's one or two areas you're really looking at that you've got to do well?
They do a nice job pressuring the basketball length of the floor. They run some zone pressure that they really like to get into, and when they're successful in the games they've won, they've really been able to generate some turnovers and generate some points off of it. So the first thing we got to do is handle the basketball and take care of it, and not give up any transition points or easy baskets for them with turning it over. So that'll be the first thing. And then the second thing is they do a nice job. I heard you guys talking earlier tonight when I flipped it on a little bit about some zone offenses and stuff. So I wish I could have had Coach Hoops in practice with me this week to go through some zone offenses, because we're going to see a ton of zone. They play a little 3-2 and do a really nice job in it. So we'll be running a ton of zone offense tomorrow. So hopefully we can put the basketball in the hole. I think we should be able to get some good shots, and hopefully we can put the ball in the hole, and then just getting back and defending them, making sure they don't get buckets in transition. They were a really, really young basketball team last year. They started a couple freshmen, and those kids have gotten older, and they're a really, really talented basketball team this year. Got good size, got a couple really good guards that handle the basketball really well and shoot the basketball really well. So, it's going to be a big challenge for us tomorrow, but I think our kids are looking forward to it. After playing them last year and having a lot of time to prepare for them, I think we kind of know their personnel and what they do. But again, you got to go out and execute. Hopefully, we can be successful, and should be a good girls game and a very competitive boys game tomorrow night too.
Going against that 3-2, I call it a flat iron. That's what I used to always call it. It's kind of like, it's a unique defense, right? It's different. It's not something you see every day. It's not your man-to-man. It's not a 2-3. Just out of curiosity, as you're preparing for this game, as you're preparing for this flat iron defense, how much extra time and practice do you have to take to just go over and maybe tweak your zone offenses to really focus on where you want to get the ball, where the weaknesses are, and stuff like that?
Anytime you got that odd man front, it always makes it interesting, because you just don't know how much trouble it's going to give you. I will say one of the good things is we see it a ton in practice because we run it a lot ourselves. So, one good thing, it's kind of like, give you a football analogy, it's like Coach Hoops likes to air it out. When he sees teams on the other side that air it out, his kids get to see that every day in practice. So I will say the one thing for us that's nice is we go against it in practice a ton. So I do think that helps and benefits us a little bit. But, at the same time, the reason we run it is because it does give teams fits. When you can get an athletic body on the top that can move and get their hands out and get touches, and then you got, a couple post players down inside that can move to the corners a little bit and rebound well out of it. So they're doing it for a reason, because they feel like they can run that defense well. So, we're going to have to take care of the basketball tomorrow. We got to understand that we are, there's going to be times where you're going to turn it over a little bit. You got to be able to accept that and respond well to it too at times. So we kind of know what we're getting ourselves into tomorrow, and it's just, going into the game and seeing if we can execute what we're wanting to do and see where we sit.
Well, I feel like you keep trying to get off the phone with us, Coach, but I'm going to keep asking you questions.
So you guys kept me up. You guys kept me up now, so I'm good.
So now we're in for it.
Yep, Coach Hoops knows that.
Coach, you ever, this, I don't want you to give your stuff away, but like against the 3-2, sometimes I would just run my man stuff against it. You guys ever experiment any with that?
Yeah, it's funny. We talk about that all the time. Our staff kind of goes back and forth on that all the time, because we do feel like, with that one man front, you feel like if you can screen it and run some of your stuff that you would normally run against a man defense, that you can get some good looks. And we do. We will run some of our motion stuff, and then we'll also even run some of our ball screen stuff against it, just to try to give us some open looks. Just again to make it feel like, and the old adage is, and Coach, you know this, you guys both know this, like everybody's always told you growing up and coming through the coaching ranks, when you see an odd man front, you want to make sure you have an even man front offensively. But I'll be honest, we get 3 guards out there a lot, put somebody in the high post and kind of try. It matches it some, but we also are able to get the ball to the high post a little bit easier. So hopefully we can get Allie the ball in some spots tomorrow, and Braley and some of our other players in some spots where they can catch it and get some shots. Because, again, you guys know as well as I do. You guys were talking about this earlier tonight, but you can put all the X's and O's out there, and I've heard Coach Hoops tell me this numerous times. It's the Jimmies and Joes a lot. You got to have kids that can put the basketball in the hole and do the things that you need them to do. And again, we can put them in the right spots, but they're going to have to make some plays for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of times too, I think with a zone offense, sometimes you just get so stagnant. So if you run your man stuff against it, you get your kids moving. They feel a little bit more comfortable against it, and sometimes ends up with 2-on-1 situations that benefit you. So I just kind of want to throw that out there and get your opinion on it.
Defensive adjustments, Coach, when you're playing this zone, how many adjustments do you have to make during a game? Like, the teams try to pick off the ball, they try to pick the ball. Are those easy adjustments for you to make? Just kind of talk about that.
I'll be honest, the way we kind of look at that, and this it's all about philosophy and what you think. And I think we've talked about this on here before. And I know Coach Hoops knows the way I am. I run so many different defenses. When teams start doing things that'll hurt, our 3-2, we'll switch and go to a 2-3 or run some man, or we play a lot of 1-3-1. I'm a Larry Jordan disciple, so we actually have pretty good size on the wings this year and have ran a ton of 1-3-1, even some length of the floor. So again, I feel like for us, we do make adjustments and stay in what we want to do at times. But, when teams start to take us out of things, I'm one that we play so many different things. I've never been one of those guys that's just a die-in-the-wool man-to-man guy, and I'm not going to come out of my man-to-man no matter what. I play a plethora of different things. And I think as a program, we've kind of prided ourselves the last few years over being able to learn all the different things that we can do in these different zone defenses and the movement in them and what that looks like, and even clear down to the junior high level. I mean, some guys only want to play man-to-man in junior high, and I respect that, the programs that do that. But at the same time, we try to give our kids visibility on everything, because once they get to high school, it's hard to tell what we're going to be running with the personnel that we have. So, Jeran, that's a good point. We try to make adjustments as we go if teams are hurting us with certain stuff, whether it be inside or dribble penetration or what that looks like. But I'll be honest, a lot of times we just adjust the defense that we're in completely as to kind of how the game's flowing. We'll play 3 or 4 different things almost every night. Unless we, find a groove and really start grooving, and then, we may stay in something a little longer. But, our ability to change defenses is something that I feel like our kids do a really good job of.
I think one thing, too, I don't know if you guys do this or not, when you do play that 3-2, it allows you to, you can either trap the first pass out of it. You can also, if you're in your 3-2 and you're matched up out of it, you just go man on the first pass and buy yourself a possession defensively there, too. So a lot of things you can do with that defense.
Yeah, a lot of things you can do in a lot of different ways you can play it. You can go back, David Robinson, I think, Navy's the one that played it forever, and Coach Hoops knows that, not coming out of my Navy. So we've heard numerous stories on that front. But again, you can play it with taking your top guy and dropping them all the way block to block and clear to the top, and having your bottom guys go out to the corner, or your team doesn't shoot it that well, we may not guard the corner at all. We may just keep our post players in tight on the. And again, that's something that this team that I have, that's the one great thing is they're very, very coachable. They could be listening to this and they would understand exactly what we're talking about, because they're very, very good high IQ basketball players that do a great job listening, and we can change things up on the fly. And I think that's one thing that benefits us for sure on the defensive end.
Okay, Coach. Well, we appreciate you really breaking that down for us tonight and talking some philosophy and X's and O's, and always enjoy having you on here, and fans get to listen to you. I always feel like this is a really good outlet for coaches to kind of explain their philosophies, maybe talk about the game, make decisions, and I think you're one of the best coaches that we talk to. Really put yourself out there, because it's not an easy situation, and Coach Hoops knows that just from coaching football. But it's just kind of like a good release, right? And you explain yourself, and it gives you a chance to talk about what you do, why you do, and maybe turn the page if that's what it needs to be. But like I said, we appreciate you calling in and talking to us every chance that you get.
No, absolutely, guys. We appreciate everything you guys do for our conference and allowing us to get on here and speak about our kids. And hopefully some people will get out and watch the Huntsman tomorrow night.
Good luck tomorrow, Coach.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you soon.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, Matt, and when we come back, we're going to have a special little section here.
Yeah, we got a little challenge coming up
on the Edward Jones Coaches Hotline here. So, all right, we'll be back for the Haines Total Healthcare Coaches Call-In Show, sponsored by Sosa. Welcome back to the Haines Total Healthcare Basketball Coaches Call-In Show by Sosa. This show is also sponsored by the Edwards Jones Coaches Hotline. All coaches join us on the Edwards Jones Coaches Hotline show. Visit your local Edwards Jones and meet a financial advisor who learns what truly matters to you, creating financial strategies to help support a life you love. Also sponsored by Haines Total Healthcare. Since 1974, Haines Total Healthcare has been proudly serving the Chillicothe community and surrounding counties, providing exceptional care to over 50,000 patients every year. Whether you're seeking chiropractic care, physical therapy, or nutritional guidance, we've got you covered. From athletes to seniors and pediatrics to geriatrics, we treat patients of all ages, helping you live pain-free, stay active, and feel your best. With a place in the top 1% of clinics nationwide, you can trust that you're in good hands. We're open 6 days a week, ready to serve your family for years to come. Haines Total Healthcare Center, where healing happens for every stage of life. Call for an appointment today or visit us at haineshealth.com.
All right, so we're back here, and one of the things, or obviously our main sponsor of this show, Dr. Brandon Haines and Haines Total Healthcare. One of the agreements for him to kind of go all in on this was he kind of challenged me for the new year to get you guys and myself to agree to do his standard process 21-day cleanse, which we have here in front of us. I've met Brandon a long time ago when we were little, played Little League baseball against each other and stuff, and then eventually ended up coaching together down at Cider Valley. And he was always talking about this cleanse, and he was like, there's no way you can do it. And kind of challenged me one year, and I think Newton and Lucas were like 8, and it was during baseball season. I said, yeah, I can do it. So he brings me all of these products in, and I said, what does this entail? And he kind of talks to me through it and says, first 10 days you can't eat anything but fruits and vegetables and these supplements. And I thought, oh my goodness, no way. But also you take it as a challenge, kind of. If you can get to day 3, you can get to day 10. You get to day 10, you can get to 21. And so since 2014, I've been doing this once a year. Usually I did it after a basketball season because it is pretty strict, and but with some free time on my hands now, I've agreed, and I've pulled you guys in with me, and we're going to take this challenge, and for the next 21 days, starting on Monday, we're going to be doing this standard process 21-day cleanse, and seeing how that it improves our overall health. I'll be honest, you're a little skeptical when you do something like this, but you'll lose some weight, but I think the biggest thing is just your clarity, your ability to sleep and rest better. It's amazing how much damage we actually do to our body just by what we eat, and kind of just resets us. You get in a good habit of eating the right things, and I'll be honest, it doesn't last for 12 months, but it'll get 3 or 4 months of doing the right thing and eating the right way, and try to last as long as you can, and do things the right way. So it's a great product. Like I said, I've been doing it for once a year for like the last 10 years. Just so happens that you guys are going to be my guinea pigs this time too. So,
well, Coach, you've said you've done this for a few times now. This will be my first time. So tell me
scary.
Some of these things I'm going to go through.
Well, I mean, honestly, you're it's going to be hard because we're so creatures of habit, and easy is easy. So and you have little kids and you're on the go, and it's hard to do. But if you can be focused and have a couple protein shakes a day, and eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, especially that first week, you're going to drink a ton of water, and it's just going to basically get all the toxins out of your body that aren't supposed to be in there, and it really does benefit you. Just there's so much more to chiropractic care that Haines and all of their doctors offer, and this is just one of them. I know my kids and my whole family, we're patients of theirs, and just the benefits that I've seen that specifically Dr. Brandon's been able to do on my 2 sons in terms of, just getting them back from, injuries or maintaining them throughout their athletic career has just been phenomenal. I know you've started to take your son Braxton to see Dr. Brandon, and just some of the benefits maybe you've seen from that.
Yeah, well, I think with this, it sounds like a challenge. I'm always up for a challenge, right? Somebody says you can't do this, Well, okay, I'm going to try it then, right? So I'm going to give it a go, and we'll see how it works. And, yeah, we just started taking my son Braxton to Dr. Haines. He had some trouble with draining out of his ears and stuff like that, and we go in, and he's had some other things, just alignment in his back and stuff like that, and he's already improved his back and his alignment. I think 70 to 90% is what he said, and we're still working on that neck. But after going there and getting a couple adjustments, he said he hadn't had to blow his nose in 2 days. So it's things you might go there for things maybe you don't even think about, right? But it heals your whole body.
It's amazing. I know the couple different times that both of either Newton or Blake have been injured. Specifically, Blake going into his junior year of football, tore his hamstring, and I kind of told Brandon what the diagnosis was and how long, and he said, "Nah, we're getting back sooner than that." And constant adjustments, different treatments that he's putting through. I've sent numerous athletes out there for sprained ankles and things like that, and those guys just get them straightened back up. Pun intended, and getting everything lined up and getting the body able to perform sooner than later. And they just do an outstanding job. And I really think that they just care about the community as a whole. So many different things that Dr. Haines does, and not just for athletes, but just for everyone. I think it's really amazing.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's pretty cool about it is, just how local he is. Like, I know his dad used to be the trainer for Zane Trace. He went to Zane Trace. You know him. I know him. We used to go to state basketball tournaments together and stuff like that. But it's good to have that local connection. And he can also, he sponsors our show. So he's invested in the community. He wants to help people. He wants to help their whole body. He wants a healthy life for everyone. And, we just appreciate him sponsoring us.
You know what I think, too? I think I'm going to make him do it. I feel like he should. He should start with us on January 6th, Monday.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm throwing it out there to you right now, Dr. Brandon. You're in too. So we'll see how this goes. Take a picture of us now, and then take a picture of us in 21 days, and see if we look any different. I guarantee you, we feel different, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, so we'll provide you an update week to week here on how we're doing.
Well, next Friday we'll be 5 days in, and we'll see how we are.
Well,
if we're here.
If we're here, that's a big if.
Next Friday night, might be a football game.
Yeah, Ohio State.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them for a minute, but daggone, man.
Just impressive.
Yeah. We were talking off the air a little bit ago. It just seems like maybe losing to Michigan was the best thing that happened. You hate to possibly win the national championship and Michigan say, "Oh, we still beat you," but they've really changed their philosophy. It's been like all gas, no brakes.
I think what they've done is they just put everything in the middle of the table and said, "This is who we are.
Yep.
We feel like we're the best team in the country. We're going to play like it, and if we're not, we're not." And you can just, it was almost like a sense of relief. That Tennessee game, there was a lot of talk of how much support from the fans they were going to get, and they showed up, and the fans showed up, but the team, more importantly, showed up, and it allowed kind of Buckeye Nation to kind of just relax and be like, this is what we've been waiting for. And,
that's exactly right.
And then that happened again on New Year's Day. Just hit Oregon in the mouth, and they didn't know what happened. So hopefully more of the same to come next Friday in Texas against Texas. We'll see, but if they continue to play like they have, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So, well, that's going to wrap up our episode tonight. So we appreciate everybody tuning in and watching us, and feel free to leave comments or reach out to me or Coach Hoops or Christian Spradlin or anybody else on the Sosa team and let us know what you think. And we really love to have more coaches come in, and if that's something you're interested. Reach out to one of us. We'll get you
coaches
on the schedule.
And players as well.
Players, absolutely,
I think that's been one of the really cool things of this show is, obviously we enjoy talking to the coaches, which is, a special thing. But listen to those young people talk, and then having to put them in situations where maybe they're not very comfortable, watching them kind of grow, and that has been really neat to see too.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, I think that's a wrap for tonight. So for Christian Spradlin, Matt Hoops, and myself, thanks for tuning in, and we'll look forward to being back with you on our next show.